I'm Dr. John Shackey. I am the Director and Principal Investigator at the Georgia Dolphin Ecology Program. And our study is designed to document the population dynamics and general ecology of the bottlenose dolphin population along the central Georgia coast. It was originally founded by Dr. Dan Odell and myself back in 2004, and it has evolved over the years. Originally it was just Dan and I, but we quickly engaged UGA, University of Georgia undergraduates in the program as I got affiliated with the university. And we've had a tremendous response, very positive response from students from a number of different programs here at UGA: ecology, wildlife, marine science, and biology. So most of the students on my team, there are usually about a dozen undergrads that work with me. We pull from all four of those departments, and we work year-round. We're out there on the coldest days of the year, and we're out there on the hottest days of the year. Kind of the joke is during the winter, we freeze the buns, and in the summer we bake them. So we're out there every other weekend, weather permitting, doing photo identification surveys in the area around St. Catherine's Island, which is in the center part of the Georgia coast. During a survey, like I said earlier, we go out about every other weekend, weather permitting. We'll go down, leave Athens on a Friday, and then come back on Sunday. In between, I have transects or fixed paths set up on all the waterways in the study area, and we sail those at a constant speed of about 10 to 12 knots, and we cover the same water the same way every time. That way, we know that we're replicating the conditions of the survey from one day to the next. And what we're doing is we're photographing the dorsal fins of the dolphins. We have no physical contact whatsoever with the dolphins. We are strictly taking photographs of their dorsal fins. And people say, well, why the dorsal fins? What's unique about them? What's unique is that dorsal tissue does not regenerate. So if a dolphin has an encounter with another dolphin and gets nipped, which is pretty frequent because dolphins are very tactile, if they have markings, if they have an encounter with a crab rope or monofilament fishing line, or in any way they get wounded, that pattern of markings on the fin will scar over, but the tissue doesn't regenerate. In other words, the profile of the fin will not go back to the smooth, curvy type pattern that it had when they were born. That pattern of markings will stay there, and they become almost as unique as your fingerprints. And from that pattern of markings, we can gather a lot of information. We can identify individual animals. We can identify kinship relationships. In other words, things like which dolphin is which dolphin's mother, who's related to one another. Habitat utilization. In other words, do we see dolphins in the same rivers frequently, and then we get an idea of what their home range or their range of movement is on a seasonal or annual basis. We can get an idea of areas within the habitat that are specialized for certain things. For example, are there fishing, hunting areas where we see a lot of dolphins engaged in pursuit of prey? Are there calving areas where we're more likely to see mother and calves, nursery areas, things like that? So most of the data that we collect, like I said, has to do with general ecology and population dynamics. Specifically, for population dynamics, we look at several things. Residency, in other words, which dolphins live here year-round, which are transients, are using the environment occasionally, versus the residents who live here all the time. We're also looking at abundance. How many dolphins are there in the area? Distribution, where are they located within the area? And we're also beginning to now look at social behavior, social affiliations, and we're hoping that over time we'll be able to use our photo ID data to get an idea of what how many populations of dolphins there are in the St. Catherine's area. There's one project I'd really like to be able to do, and it's going to require a new boat, a larger one than we have now. In the last couple of years, we've noticed that there are some dolphins in our study area that disappear for months at a time. We know that they're resident dolphins. In other words, they live here, as opposed to migrating up and down the coast on a seasonal basis. There is a population of dolphins that do that, but not our guys. The estuarines live here, we know that. But for periods of time, several months at a time, we don't see them, even despite the fact that we're sailing the same waterways the same way every time. They're just gone. We don't know where they are. Based on some work I did with NOAA a couple of years ago, there's now the beginning of an understanding that there may be a group of dolphins that live outside the barrier islands, but yet very close to shore. They're actually estuarine dolphins, but for some period of the year, they may go outside the barrier islands. We have some preliminary data on that. But I'd like to be able to study that a little closer. Unfortunately, once you get outside the barrier islands, the waves are a little higher, the wind's a little stronger, and it's just a little rougher environment. And our boat, which is named Naya, which is the Hawaiian word for dolphin, just can't take that kind of pounding. And I would like to have a little more robust boat, preferably a catamaran, that we could go out there and work on the outside of the island to be able to continue the photo ID work to see if in fact these dolphins that disappear for these extended periods of time out of the marshes are in fact working and living outside the barrier islands. I think that's a good possibility, and that's going to take another boat to do that. And that's what we're primarily seeking funding for right now. Like I mentioned earlier, the students we have are drawn from different departments. Most of them are undergraduates. We have a few graduate students who work with us as well. And all the students are looking, most of them have an abiding and a strong interest in marine mammals, so they want to get some real world experience. And the Georgia Dolphin Ecology program is a good opportunity for them to do that, because it looks really good on their resume that they have been involved in an ongoing field research program. Because there are things you can learn in the classroom and there are things you learn in the field. And sometimes they don't sync up all that much, but the students get a chance to develop their skills with photo and video, navigation, and running the boat. Everybody on the crew has an opportunity, as they choose, to perform different roles on the boat. We have some people who have remarkable photo skills and video skills, and we certainly want to utilize those skills. The skill sets that the students have and they bring with them just continues to blow me away. We live in the Dolphins' backyard, or do they live in ours? And actually, it's kind of a funky question, because the answer is both. We share the same environment, we eat a lot of the same fish, we recreate in the same waters that the dolphins and other marine mammals live. And since dolphins are at the top of the food chain, they are apex predators, and they reflect the condition of the environment in which they live. If we're seeing diseases emerging in bottlenose dolphins, if we're seeing illnesses, respiratory problems, and so forth in the population of dolphins, we're seeing what could potentially happen to us.
How can people get involved, or how can people help?
There are a number of ways. There are any number of programs. I mean, certainly the Georgia Dolphin Ecology program requires financial support. We have some external funding from the Georgia Aquarium, and we get a few donations from individuals that I know. But we're always trying to expand or enhance the quality and the scope of the project, so we're always looking for funding. Nobody in the project gets a salary. This is all, we all volunteer. All the money that we get goes straight to operational costs, things like boat fuel and cameras and things like that. So there's, certainly we'd love people to donate to the Georgia Dolphin Ecology program. But if other marine mammals are exciting and interesting to people, there are any number of programs out there that you can go out on the web and find it for the well-being of right whales, blue whales, manatees. Manatees are very endangered. We're seeing them in Georgia more and more. Any number of opportunities to get involved in the conservation and rehab of marine mammals.